I made this really cool toy. It's a Stormtrooper with Han Solo's gun shooting a laser from the back. It's a fidget spinner too. It's not the typical spinner size we see. A while back, Pena sent me a mystery box. It had metal pieces inside. Ray's directions were, make something with these items.
So Eloy, let me know what you think of the stuff I threw in this box for you, and I'd love to see what you can make from it.
I had a tough time coming up with an idea to go with. The past few weeks I've seen a good amount of makers making fidget spinners. Ray Pena and Dan the Maker Man, to name a few. I'll leave a link below. Anyways, Ray said I should make a spinner with the bearing he sent me. I got excited about the idea and said I would. The things I get myself into, man. The bearing is a bit bigger than the ones folks are making spinners out of. I decided to go with the Stormtrooper, and I wanted him to spin from the laser of a gun, Han Solo's gun. I printed out an image of the Stormtrooper and cut out most of the waste. I used a glue stick and buttered the back of the template, then stuck it on the wood. I busted out the scroll saw and went to town cutting out the shape. I then cut out the individual sections in Tarsha style. For the torso, I cut out the circle for the bearing that Ray sent me. I took all the pieces I cut and used a belt sander to round over the edges. There were plenty of parts to work on. This is how it looked after sanding. Oh, and the bearing is in its place. I went ahead and painted the Stormtrooper black and white with acrylic paints. Look at all the little pieces on the table. It's crazy. So after the paint dried, I started on the glue up. After glue up, I took a backer board and traced an outline of the Stormtrooper. I took the board to the bandsaw and cut out the shape. Next, I drilled out the place where the bearing would sit. I added wood glue to both pieces, buttered it up with my fingers, and joined them together using clamps. So I printed out a Han Solo gun. I did the same here. I cut out the waist, used stick glue on the back, and attached the template to the wood. Then it was time to cut out the gun. I drilled a hole into the trigger of the gun. This way I could feed the scroll saw blade through the piece, and then it was just a matter of cutting out the inside. I used the router table to round over the sharp edges of the gun. I painted the gun black and set it to dry. When the paint was dry, I masked the muzzle and painted it silver. Now I'm drilling into the muzzle. I want to attach it down. It's gonna be the laser beam. I printed a zap bubble, stuck it to the 1/8" ply, and cut it out using the bandsaw. In the end, I opted to leave the word out, but kept the blast that I wanted to use on the front of the Stormtrooper. So I spray painted both the laser and the zap in red. When everything was dry, I started gluing the parts together. The Han Solo gun looks sweet. It's simple, I know. Super cool for a toy though. The last thing I needed to do was add the zap to the front of the Stormtrooper. So check out the finished toy, subscribe, like, and comment. Escajedo Woodworking.